Hey kids, we made it. I almost didn't do a show today. I was like, Rory, I'm just not feeling it today. I'm like, these last couple days, I think they weighed on everybody's spirit and souls heavily, and that's kind of where I am on that. But I was talking to Rory. Rory comes in super optimistic, and I'm like, all right, let's do it. Rory, how you
See
doing?
what happens. I'm doing all right, man. I know what you mean, though. Everywhere you look around the world, there's these negative things happening, and it's a real bummer. And look, if it's a bummer for us, you can appreciate that the people in these situations have got it way worse.
Yeah.
So to some extent, we can feel optimistic that we don't have to suffer that. But do you know what? It'd still be better if no one did,
Yeah,
right?
I'm with you 100%.
It's a frustrating kind of time.
Yeah, no, it is. And we said this yesterday. I'll say it again today. We stand with you. If you're, dealing with this, we're 100% with you. I just want to say that. I'm going to just pop into my chat window out. I was because I really didn't have a clear idea of what I was going to do today, or I had one idea, started double checking to make sure that path was going to be okay, hit a dead end, and then I was like, oh, dang. I don't have a lot of things started up right now, including the drone game is not up and flying. Let's kind of get some things started up here. Let's start up Mr. Announcer Bot. Should see Mr. Announcer Bot in the house, showing up in the chat room. Do we see it? I don't see it
yet.
Got to connect. I'm watching it start up. OBS WebSocket connected. Don't see Mr. Nutspot in the house. Let's try the Overlay Manager. Maybe it's coming from Overlay Manager. Still no Mr. Announcer Bot in the house. Let's go into gosh, I got a lot of scenes here. I've got like, I think 300 or more scenes, 400 scenes in OBS. Let's take the drone game. We'll refresh that at least. Here's OBS Studio. Let's go to performance, take a look at what's going on with my GPU. Yeah, already 3D is maxed out.
GPU rammed.
Yeah, now that could be
to be fair, that's
Tailspar.
not entirely the fault of the system, is it? Because you pointed out just before we came on air that you've been trying out Tailspire, or at least getting ready to try.
Yeah.
And already you said it was sucking up, what was it, 35% of your GPU?
Yeah.
And that's more than any single process when it first starts normally. What is it doing?
Well,
what was the purpose of Tailspire? Maybe we can have a quick refresher.
So here's the thing. It's basically a 3D mapping kind of utility, a 3D mapping and level world building tool for Dungeons and Dragons players.
It's not rendering that background, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Wow.
It is rendering.
Fair enough then.
So this is, I can move it around like this, and you can kind of get a sense. Oh, okay, it is actually rendering. Now, the thing about rendering here is there's often very little change from frame to frame.
Yes.
They could, especially if there's no lighting. Now, one of the things Tailspire has the ability to put like flickering lighting inside of a dungeon. I could do something here to demonstrate it a bit. Let me go into build mode. And
I can imagine in your current situation, if it was maybe dark and there was some lightning going on periodically,
right,
then you'd get a similar effect.
There are also creatures. I don't know which ones. I can't get to them quickly in here, but they're creatures that have kind of a lighting kind of effect as well. Well, let's see if the green slime guy, oh, he's kind of bigger than I thought. Oh, no, he's not. He was just really close to us. Let's put him over here and see if there's any kind of lighting there. I think he's got some lighting in him. I can change the atmospheric settings here. Make it nighttime here, I think. There you go. So there are some pieces that generate light, right? And some of that light is flickering. For example, if I come over into building, over here, and I go into lighting, I could go grab a campfire. That kind of makes sense. Let's throw it out over here if we can. Can't quite get in there from the angle where we're at. There it is right there. So put the campfire right over here, right next to the tree, because that's how I like to do my campfires. right at the base of a tree. All right, so here we go.
Next to that nice burnable source of wood.
Yeah, you like that. So here we go. So here you can see now, okay, there's some rendering and things going on, right?
Yeah.
But if those things didn't exist in the frame, they could just simply say, oh, okay, nothing's changing that's impacting anything, and just give me a flat screen and shut down their GPU suckage. That's like I've considered sending that.
If the world state doesn't change from frame to frame, then presumably the rendering of that doesn't either. And that would include the camera, of course, but yeah.
Exactly. But, they've got this cool kind of thing for, it does look super cool. The lighting is great, but, I haven't suggested that to their team because I'm like, do I want to be in that place doing that, or do I just want to get faster GPU and put this on a second computer? And I'm kind of more in the second space on this. I think a second, my computer's almost here. It's working its way into Costa Rica. So
I can see you're not far off from being one of those server farms that's got a rack of mounted PCs just in the corner. Is that the next step?
Kind of. I'm looking at the corner where these are going to go. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm building them up. But at this point, that's kind of what I'm looking at. So I wanted to hook into this. And I had downloaded.
It is beautiful. It's really nice looking. You can see how this would add to any such experience, really.
Yeah, it's really nice. Oh, what's this around the corner? What is this?
Ooh.
Is this a frost giant? Oh no, that's not good. Things are about to get bad. So that's kind of what I want to do. Now there's kind of an API for hooking into this, but the beta, notice, I don't know if you can see this. Yeah, you can't see it. It's behind Fred there. But there's something that says inject build. I think I can make Fred go away. Hold on a second. I can make Fred and myself both go away at the same time. And you can't quite see it. It's also behind the player, but it says inject build back there. And
just about make that out.
Yeah, just about make that out. And so what that means is we've got a beta that we've then injected other plugins into so we can talk to it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go ahead and I just want to let everybody know I'm probably not going to write a lot of code today. That's kind of what I'm thinking right now, but we'll see what happens. We're going to chat and talk about whatever comes up, and that's what we're going to do. One of the things we'll probably talk about is performance. And speaking of starting up things and hitting my system, I want to bring this up, Rory, because I think I made some changes to this after you left in your absence, in terms of what worked and what did not in terms of optimization. So we'll kind of talk about optimization a little bit. All right, see this big X?
Yep.
That means it didn't work. Grouped filtering did not, and I think you were not with us when this happened.
No.
Okay, so basically I had a whole bunch of rings, and I thought, well, let's just change the filter once, write all the rings out, and then come back. And so it's only one change instead of multiple.
I remember the plan behind that. It was kind of like you look at a matrix of things to change and times to change it. You were altering the XY in the hope of less modifications.
I think I agree with what you're saying. I was basically saying let's change the filter once instead of many times for each time we need to draw, because I had read avoid context shifting.
Yes,
on the filter.
That's what started us down this route. In fact, it gave us that hint that the hue shift was our biggest, well, certainly one of our biggest problems at the time.
Yeah, which implied a bug in the a performance bug in the implementation of context is what it implied. If this had worked, there would be a kind of a big performance bug in there. However, I guess it's reassuring to know that this did not work. We ended up the perceived time, whether I changed it a bunch of times as I was writing it out, or did it once and then wrote them all out and changed it at the end, the perceived time was the same for both.
Okay.
So I wrote up here in the upper right, the perf hit seems to come from total number of pixels converted, including the transparent parts of the image, not the total number of context shifts. That's what I learned. So group filtering was a no. Brute force attack on memory makes me nervous, but it worked. Everything predicted came true. Okay. Dynamic throttling, I'm going to give that we can make this smaller checkbox here so we can see what's going on a little bit more. Like that. Let's put over here. Look at how slow. I don't even tell her now. My machine is so slow. Look at how this is following the mouse. It's like, whoa. I actually write software to simulate this kind of delay to show you what kind of problems it leads to. What's going on there? CPU is not the problem. It's the GPU is my bottleneck, Rory.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that.
All the GPU gone.
Yeah.
Can you smell that smoke burning from your PC there, Mark?
No. Okay. So, more hardware's coming. Hopefully throwing more hardware, this is going to make this happier. Okay. So there we go. That one kind of worked. This one kind of works as well. Filter optimizations, we tried them, including one of the things I tried that didn't occur to me when I was writing this, but it did when I was looking at the code. I was noticing that when I was coming up with a random number and adding it to the hue shift, I was getting hue shifts of like 15.972345674, 8 to 9 digits of precision. And I panicked thinking, oh no, what if there's a precision bug? Because a precision performance bug, because I had read separately that with regards to placing images on screen, use integers, not floating point, not decimal point, X and Y coordinates, because there'll be anti-aliasing that'll come in if you don't use an integer. And so I was like, okay, what if the same kind of problem exists with the hue shift? So I was like, all right. I changed that, no perceivable gain. So there were none of these worked right here. None of these options here worked.
Sad
right?
face.
Including that, this attempt right here. So that didn't work either. Our crazy idea might still work, but...
That may be more of technological understanding barriers than it is...
Yeah,
not a good idea per se.
Yeah, we hit this huge, like around 10-second perf hit, which we couldn't explain. We couldn't explain what was happening. The tools weren't telling us what was going on, and that combined with this right here, seeing that perf did actually not seem to substantially improve. Although I acknowledged yesterday, and I'm still acknowledging, more effort in this direction could break us through this perf hit, and there actually might be a perf improvement that admittedly we were only testing with 2 filters when we really needed to throw 12 or more to really be able to see a noticeable gain.
Sure.
But I guess what I was hoping for was like to see the frame rate go up.
Mm-hmm.
So, crazy idea we threw out. Recycling filters, this is just going to give us, this is just this kind of this idea of, hey, if we're not using the GPU, let's use the GPU. That's kind of this right here. We did this a little bit. No, we didn't actually do recycling filters, but we did put a limit on those. Let's go jump in. So that's what we did. I'm going to close this down. I want to jump into, actually let's zoom out of this a little bit because this is actually kind of cool. Going to show you what's going on here. This is a little trail here that leads to this mountain. The trail goes up the mountain, kind of works its way around. It's kind of cool what Tailspire can do.
Very nice.
Right? And the thing it cannot do is it can't do water right now. So totally would love for that. This is supposed to be a waterfall up here. And anyway, that's kind of this view here. I wanted to actually go out too, and looks like a depth of field problem over here, and also coupled with a performance problem too. I guess maybe we'll just leave it here.
It's like you just zoomed out into a cloud.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Mist.
All right. Well, anyway, let's do this. We're going to close that down. Maybe we'll come back to Tailspire. Probably after I get my second machine. My other machine in here, I think at that point going to Tailspire makes sense. Look at OBS. OBS is like, look at how happy the coins are. They all started spinning at a higher frame rate. OBS is like, what, GPU? I'm taking it.
I'll have me some of that.
Yeah.
What GPU? No. There was no GPU. Pay no attention to the GPU.
I need more GPU. That's what I need. Okay. Here is the plugin for it. Oh, and I closed down Tailspar. I wanted to run this to... see what happens when we run it without Tailspar running. Let me start up Tailspar one more time just to get it. Let's do it. We'll take a look at the error. Here it is right here. This is the... actually, I just started up Tailspar, so the whole thing may actually end up working. Let's bring it over here so you can see it. One of the things that's interesting is Tailspar has a fixed window size. As far as I can tell, you can't resize the window. Yeah, so it's like a 1080 or 1920 by 1080. Since we're here, I think I wanted to show you this. One of the things I really like about this engine is if you get in close and you set the, what is it, this view right here, this piece, bring this down, you can start lifting up through layers, right, and see what's going on.
Okay.
Isn't that cool? So
Peering through the roof.
Yeah, so you can kind of have your players in here and then go down the stairs and then you're downstairs in the lower level.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
On the ground floor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's very cool. So, yeah. Well, that's interesting. Look at that. The entrance to the second floor is through the back. Really nice. So, all right. So let's try running this and see what happens. I think we're going to have a problem. But if I'm over here and I say get creature list, we're here. And I think this is where I get the problem. There it is right there. So self-referencing loop detected for property normalized. So I think this is a version problem. I wasn't getting this before, upgraded to the latest version. So I think we're not gonna be able to mess with this. The cool thing about this, the optimistic thing about this, yeah, that's all messed up now. But I wonder if I can get out here just to show you the UI. The cool thing about this is you can get a list of creatures in the map. You can then select them and you can move them, do different kinds of manipulations of those pieces, and you can move the camera as well. So all of those things are, all of those aspects are there, which is a lot of what we need are get a list of creatures on the map and where are they, get their positions.
Yep.
So that is something that eventually I anticipate that we'll spend some time in.
Okay.
All right. So Roy, anything else you want to talk about with regards to performance? Anything else you were interested in seeing or talking about with regards to that?
Well, if nothing, I'm curious what you actually did do, because I had to leave, unfortunately, before you started your implementation with your large canvases and small canvases, you know, that I'm copying from off screen. So I'm curious what you actually did do that was then proved to be not working to the degree you'd like.
Sure, we can. Well, I showed you what in the spreadsheet, or I mean the PowerPoint. I showed you in PowerPoint what did not working, but I can show you what does work because that's the code that's left. I don't have the example code that's not working. Hold on, let me start up the control panel. Let's refresh these, and that's gonna also bring up. Okay, there's the back overlay. Here comes the dice. Looks like the dice may have refreshed themselves just by turning them on. And the front overlay, everything may be refreshed. Let me initialize the player data and we'll see what happens. But you can see already the coins are spinning at like maybe 15 frames a second.
Yeah.
Their frame rate has dropped. Yeah, also, by the way, using off-screen canvases does not seem to significantly change the frame rate. It does not.
Wow.
Let's, so because I'm already using off-screen canvases for the nameplates on the front. Yeah, look at this. Look at this frame rate.
That is not good.
Yeah, it's a pretty bad hit. If we go in though, let's play and see what happens. Let's watch the frame rate. I have dynamic throttling turned on right here. We made some changes so that yesterday, if we're rolling the dice, we basically take the dice frame rate, bring it up to I think 30, and we take the others and we bring them down around 5 or 8, somewhere down in that range. This is what happens on a roll. So if we do a roll right now, like let's go with little cutie and we'll say let's bring up a greatsword. Now we should see in the front the frame rate drop a little bit. No, it didn't really drop because there are yeah, it's standing at about 9 right there. That frame rate there is there are 2 filters going on there for the drawing here. One is to change the magic effect to purple, and the other one is to change the hue of the sword just a little bit. Although that one, admittedly, is not really needed. We could give that up somewhere else. I've noticed, Rory, that around between 6 and 10 context changes, I guess depending on the size of the image, but about 6 to 10 special effects, graphics effects, context changes, that's when you start to notice the performance degradation. That usually,
Sure.
I would say for every 4 context changes, you're giving up 1 frame per second, is what it feels like at about our current rate. If we roll the attack, we should see the dice go up a bit and the front and backs go down a little bit, although to be honest, their down moves is not much lower than where they are already. Let's roll the attack and watch it, see what happens. Now, I should also say we've got more with it. I didn't do anything on the swords yet. The swords have got, the spinning swords are using filters. Let's turn on filters for a second and see if the swords speed up.
Unbelievable.
I think they get a
Certainly
little
smoother.
smoother, yeah.
Do we have any actual stats? I mean, we've got frames per second. Do we have context switches per second or anything like that? Sort of measurable.
No, and again, I'm at this point, I'm convinced that's not so much as useful as how many pixels total we're drawing against a particular context that's
Right.
not empty.
Yes.
That's what I think
Okay.
is important. Now, notice, by the way, after the roll is done, because there's no more dice on screen, we drop to 1 frame a second. Okay, so we get more to the front, which means if little cutie brings up her greatsword again, we should see a smoother animation because we're now at a higher frame rate, is what we should see. It's about
Yeah, I'd
twice
say
what it
that's
was
true.
before.
Yeah.
But we also have no filters. We turn on filters, watch what happens to the frame rate. A little bit of a drop. So we went from 23 to about 18, 19, 20. Dropped about 3
That seems
frames
to be
per
a
second.
lot of blame somehow in the dice.
What do you mean the
because-
dice?
Well, because the dice isn't trying very hard because obviously there's nothing for it to be doing. Whereas before you rolled anything, it was trying despite there being nothing to do.
Are you saying
And-
blaming the dice? Are you saying before? What's
For the
rendering this?
performance.
You mean before? Yesterday we were talking about the dice, or the day before? Is that right or no?
Well,
when you say
a
there's
few minutes
blame, are
ago-
you talking about what we're seeing now?
You had 3 layers, and they were all pitching at about 9 frames a second, 9
Right.
to 10 frames, just a few
Right.
minutes ago. And we could see that wasn't the greatest or the smoothest. So then you rolled the dice, and you turned things on, and you turned things off. The net effect afterwards was we've still got the color effect going on the sword now. They've left and they've come back. And then the dice was pitching at 1 frame a second, and that,
Yeah.
everything was smooth, but with the dice down at 1 frame a second. Now you've just, I'm assuming, turned that back on,
I have.
and everything's back to 10 again, and it's starting to be a little bit, not quite there.
Yeah. .NET Ed is asking, what's rendering this? Unity, WebGL? Just wondering what could be 16 frames per second for a sword. Well, it's not. These are overlays inside of OBS, is what these are. And I've got I think four overlays that are active right now. And
So we're doing this
including
in web
3D
pages
layers.
that are open. So
Yeah.
kind of in the context of a
Yeah,
canvas.
it's JavaScript.
JavaScript canvas.
Yeah, that's correct, .NET Ed. It is JavaScript. Our frame rate we're saying is, hey, well, let's try at 30 if we can. If I drop the dice down to 1, so I think that I understand what you're saying, Rory. If we basically take the dice out of the picture, look what happens to the other frame rates. They both go up substantially.
Yeah.
Right?
Despite the fact that in theory, the dice is doing nothing, even when you turn it up to 10, just at the moment anyway.
Despite the fact that in theory, sorry, I was distracted slightly. Say that again.
So in theory, right now, the dice are doing nothing. You're not rolling any
Right.
dice.
Yes.
And if you turn the frame rate of that up, you're still doing nothing, only at higher rate of frames per second.
Yeah.
So, that's crazy.
Yeah. If I turn front to 1 frame a second, right, the highest we can get on the dice is about 14 frames a second. And again, that we're also streaming from here. The bottleneck on this whole thing, kids. By the way, I don't see this when I am normally. Let's switch these around a little bit here. I don't see this when I'm not streaming, right? The reason why is because when I stream, OBS not only does it have to use all of that GPU for the 3D work and then the other work that's happening, but it also has to use it to stream. And as a result, when it does that, if we go down here to GPU, can I drag that up or no? I can't change the position. The browser engine is using the GPU, absolutely. And we can take a look at this right here. What's really weird though is this. What's that line? How are we not using GPU?
I was wondering that, but is that when you called up Task Manager? Was it not monitoring prior to that?
Maybe. Let's verify and see if that works. So here we go, bringing up Task Manager. We're going to performance. I bet you're totally right. That was it, Rory. Okay.
It's a shame,
Right.
because otherwise that would be a great indication of somewhere where we could save ourselves some GPU, but
Yeah.
sadly no.
How does OBS embed Chromium? I don't know the answer to that question.
Magic and unicorn dust.
Yeah, and some code
I don't know.
maybe. So maybe
Yeah,
some
possible.
code. So that's our problem right here. 100% GPU, because we are streaming live. We're sending an NDI signal out to another machine as well, so Rory can see this live. So that's our problem. Doing a window capture of the. Have you tried doing a window capture of the browser?
Okay, so is that a suggestion that we actually do this in a copy of Chrome rather than
Yeah, we can do that.
OBS having its own portal into these things?
Let me shut it off here. Drag and back overlay. So I just shut it off all there in this location. Let's see what happens to our GPU. I think we're still probably at 100%.
It's an
Okay, look at
interesting
that.
experiment.
Look at that. We have managed to drop below 99 by shutting down those three. But it lets you know, basically, look, at OBS, when it wants to stream plus one overlay with these coins right here, OBS plus the coins, that overlay, is going to take up 87% of my GPU, giving me 13% of it to work for the other three. So you can kind of get a sense, okay, yeah, we're taxed on this machine.
Yeah.
The other thing that's interesting is the graphics card in this machine is one of the highest ranked graphics cards. It's like, I think, number 16 in the world right now, and the one I'm getting is number 1. So it's only about 50% faster than this. And it's bugged, surely. All right, let's go ahead and run it. Let's go ahead and do .NET Ed suggestion here. Let's close that down. Let's bring
We
up...
should be aware that the way we're doing this at the moment is I think we've got at least 3 overlays, don't we? We've got a front game, a back game, and a drone game.
Yep.
And these are independently being composited with your own image from your webcam into the stream. Now, what maybe is being suggested, so we could either have 3 copies of Chrome running those layers, have something go and get the images from them and composite them that way, so that perhaps some of the the workload isn't happening inside OBS so much as it is in a copy of Chrome. Or alternatively, maybe there's a way to get all 3 layers. The trouble being that, of course, your picture and those of the fellow players has to be sort of between them, so maybe that wouldn't work so well. But it's an interesting idea, certainly, to try and distribute the problem and see which bit is having the difficulty with it. Because it could be just a massively unoptimal way of doing things inside of OBS. Maybe there are alternatives.
I like to say less than optimal when I'm not sure what word to use. I don't know. All right, so take a look at this. Let's do this. We're going to look at, there it is right there. This is the die roller. And what's interesting about this, though, is we might be able to see some performance issues here on the die roller a little bit better when we're running only this. I want to throw up, let's see. I want to get, do I want to bring up, how are we doing over here in our GPU usage? We're at 100%. So we are maxing it out in here, but the die roller is now theoretically the only thing running in this space back here. Let's do this, see if we can do this. If I hit 12 D12 acids, are they going to throw out? There they go. So here you get a sense of the frame rate, and it is not great. It's not great for that. Not great.
So if you maybe sort by name of process instead so that they don't jump up and down so much. We have a look at the GPU used by Google Chrome specifically.
Sure.
When that happens.
Right.
Because I'm curious how it goes up and down.
There's Google Chrome right now. Now the cool thing is look at it, how responsible it is when nothing is rolling.
Yep.
That's
nice, isn't it?
That's what I'm talking about. We have not seen that with OBS Studio. Hard to tell for sure. Although I love OBS Studio over here at only 50. Well, wait, that's not true, is it? It's 55 plus 13. These, for some reason, this only shows the highest. These two are added together to get to this, is my understanding, based on what we've seen. Get the chat window back up here. Yeah, so that's kind of where we're at on that. Let me try rolling only 6 of them. 6 D12s, fire damage. What do we get here? Anything better? So cutting the die in half gets us maybe a frame. Buys us a frame.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll tell you though, when I'm not streaming and I run this test, I throw out 22 dice and they run fast. So that kind of gives you an idea of just how much impact streaming has on this. In fact, when I was looking at this a couple days ago and I was throwing out 22 dice with all the special effects on them, and they were just totally looking real in terms of their interactions, right? It was rendering it at 30 frames a second. I was like pretty happy about that. But I'm not happy with this right now. Check the Chrome Performance tab in DevTools. .NET Edit, it's got an idea. You want me to do a hit record on it? We got something else. I'm not sure where you want us to go on this. Let us know, Ed. Yeah, do it. All right, fine. Got nothing running now, but I'll go ahead and hit record. We'll send out. I'll send out 6 D12 fires. Here they come. And that's probably good. Yeah, we kind of been here. But to be honest, I'll tell you this, Ed, .NET Ed, I am not an expert in Chrome tools. So let's see if we can get anything else. I'll tell you what I did discover is this tab was the closest thing I had to a friend on this page. Right here. A lot of this up here, I don't functionally understand what's happening here yet. But I do know that if I come in here, I see, well, 74% of my activity is in animation frame fired. It's in animation, 40% then of it is in animate dice roller. I've got some other things here in manipulating the world right here. This one's kind of interesting. That's coming from the physics engine. That
So
is
last
making
time
sense.
we did this, we weren't doing it, to my knowledge, using the dice layer specifically. We were looking at another layer entirely, and that's
right.
what led us to the hue shift.
Right.
The actual draw, whilst hue shifting was in fact, our big impactor.
Yeah.
So this could be interesting to determine if something ever
Perhaps.
slightly
Yeah.
different here.
Yeah. Let's see what we end up seeing here. So let's see. Where are we? Render canvas. Dice layer.js. WebGL.renderer. I don't understand that question. Ed, let me know what you want me to do there. I don't like how these numbers are clipped off on the edge here. And there's no horizontal scroll to change it. What are you using it for? I thought this was a canvas thing. I am drawing on the canvas. I'm doing this, though, to create the dice. The dice, this is for the dice rolling. That's what this layer is doing. So this does the dice rolling, and it also does the fire effects below and the dark cloud effects above, or any kind of sandwiching of effects. Sometimes, for example, let's see if I can show you on here. Come back and look at that in a second. Let's see, is this going to work? There you go. It's like pudding's here. There's pudding. Pudding, we're trying to watch.
Nothing quite so useful as when you're trying to do some graphical effects, is to cover the entire screen in a graphical effect.
Well, maybe that's what I need. That effect right there. There it is. That effect right there at the end is one that puts something on top of the dice. So there's effects above and below the dice as they come out. Yeah,
Pudding's arrival changed scenes so that we can no longer see anything in the Chrome tools.
Oh, thanks.
We have the chats come up.
I'll pop it back right over there. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, looking at that, what we've got the self time, we've got the total time. So the self time for most of those things is pretty low, suggesting that the actual problems are deeper within, but it's within that draw something, I would imagine. Yeah. That's the largest part of that particular chart. The WebGL renderer is another good one. Within those two.
Okay, total time here. I guess part of what my
So
confusion
total
is
itself
we were
and its children.
we were profiling for 11 seconds, right?
Yeah.
Why does my total time seem to be much lower than 11 seconds? Oh, because it's not sorted by total time. Let's see. Yeah, this is what I don't understand. If we profiled for 11 seconds, that was really 2 seconds, 3 seconds, about 2.5 seconds worth of actual code execution. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. That's.
You think that's realistic?
I spotted that. You spotted it, and I agree.
You agree that
weird.
seems less than it should be, right?
That seems a lot less. Yeah.
I've selected 2 seconds at the top. Here.
Oh, in the chart at the top. So we're measuring a
Guess
particular frame. Ooh.
What is this?
This is for highlighting, which portion of the recording do you wish to analyze? Wow, look at that. There's even a replay.
Says, never mind, he says. Yeah, no, I like this. This is good. Good. Right there. I like that a lot. What's this? No, I can't move that. It looks like I can move that. No. Yeah.
So if you click on the far left and drag to the far right, I suspect you'll get the entirety.
I think I just got it by double clicking it. I think if I do this and then if I double click it, it just seems to grab the whole thing. So
it's still a pretty small amount of time then.
But if we look at this, we look at the pictures. No, wait a minute. Yeah, because we're getting into 14 seconds, 16 seconds, 18 seconds. That's 18 seconds right there. So the difference between here and here is 10 seconds. So I don't understand this, why this is not adding up to 10 seconds.
Yep.
Is it the overlay of the profiling that added 8 seconds to that?
Where are you? We need your help.
.NET Ed says it's not spending all the time rendering them. Must be a low priority. There's Fantasy 7. Pew pew. These overlays are something else. Yeah. They are a little bit, aren't they? Yeah. In fact, I seem to have a smoother frame rate if I just do this. If I just scroll past these right here.
Pre-rendered dice rolls for the
Yeah.
win.
So I'm not seeing much opportunity to solve the problem. I really think, Rory, that the problem that our approach to solving this, we've kind of hit the limits of the most we can do. Because
So,
what are
yeah.
we trying to do? We've got 13% of our GPU available for us. And we're trying to get everything to fit in through that tiny little bottleneck, right?
Yep.
What we need to do is widen the bottleneck up, right? And then I think things will work way better. I think that bottleneck itself also, it could actually lead to even slower performance. The fact that the bottleneck exists is what I'm saying. So in other words, if the GPU is bottlenecked, the GPU itself may perform more slowly because it's having to shift memory around or do something else to solve that problem. It's the theory. I don't know a lot about GPU. I don't know anything about GPU architecture, but it's a theory. Can you run it at a lower resolution? Maybe I could, but I don't think I'm going to opt to do that. Is the performance the same in a smaller Chrome window? Yeah, I think it is a smaller Chrome window, because the thing is we are drawing to a canvas we are hard coding to 1920 by 1080, because that's what we're broadcasting at. That's our canvas size. So, yeah, if we let me throw out 12 extra dice, see what our frame rate is here. Oh, I got magic turned on. So not great. Let's turn off magic. Not using magic. One more time. 12, D12, extra. How's that look? Yeah. It's not great. Not great. So, I almost want to just run away from GPU today. That's what I want to do. But that's kind of what we're looking at. We're looking at what I think is we're really close to limits of the clever things we can do to improve performance on this in this space right now.
Tail Learn Code is raiding.
Tail Learn Code. I got to find out what that is. What is Tail Learn Code?
Anything to do with Tailspire?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Maybe not. Let's see. What do we
Maybe
got?
not.
Tales about software development, learning from each other, coding. Okay, cool. Tail Learn Code.
Like
Thanks
that.
for that raid. Thanks, kids.
Yeah.
I kind of want to do something exciting, Rory, but I got no ideas. You got anything for me?
I kind of don't know.
I was thinking, let's try this. Well, I don't know. I got a couple ideas that I'll throw out at you. I'll tell you where I'm playing. The space I'm playing in, Rory, is prepping for integration with Tailspire.
Yeah.
We were talking about this before, and I think what I want to do is I want to do work in that space is what I want to do. Let's do this. I'm going to turn off. Yeah, the overlays are turned off with the exception of the drone game. So the drone game is on. Rory, can you verify by flying a drone that that's working? And what I want to do is I think I want to go in and start working on positioning. Yeah, it looks like you're flying. Okay. So I want I want to work on positioning and tests and how those relate to, like, for example, spells and areas of effect is what I want to do. Somewhere in here in my D&D core, Pudding says you need a default fanfare for raids. I'm going to work on that today. I'll get that for you. I'll get you a default raid fanfare. Let me add a note to myself here. We'll do it. Here's the best I got for you right now.
You won!
Woohoo! Nice. I like Rory's enthusiasm right there. Woohoo!
Nice fireworks.
Yeah, I like them. They're nice fireworks. They're really nice. So there you go. That's the best thing I got right now. Okay, creature. I wanted to go to creature. Out over here. Let's jump into creature and let's start looking at how the creature knows where it is. Do we have anything like position or location? Set world position. Right there. World position is a vector. Okay. So I started by thinking that my world position was in 2 dimensions. Right here. I even created a thing called a D&D room and added a position creatures method, which would take a picture like this and parse it out and put those creatures in those particular locations. So I've got Alice, Betty, Charlie, and David, and these are their names, A, B, C, and D. And then I popped them in here, like this. So not bad start.
Yeah.
But I think what I want to do is I want to bump this up to 3D space. Like that. Let's do that. I'm just using CodeRush to duplicate the lines, and CodeRush is somehow figuring out what I want to do. So now I'm doing this. Right there. Let's tap the next reference on vector, see what other problems we have based on that. Oh, you know what I should have done?
I was going to suggest maybe a default of 0 on the z-axis, just in case you didn't want to supply it.
Yeah, I like it. All right, let's do that. And then now we should have everything still compile. If we do that, it's a great idea. Genesco 7, the test wave's probably not going to work because I have the front overlay turned off. Yeah, some of the things that we normally have on are turned off because of GPU suckage. Like that. What do we got? Couldn't copy. Okay, because we're running. This right here is already running. Let me shut that down and try again. Bald bearded builder lurking while he works. No, I do not. It's still in customs. Let me tell you what happens, BBB. I got a message from my importing company that says, I'm in Costa Rica, and it says, the invoice you attached was incorrect. We're going to be playing more games with your card until you send us the right invoice. So Costa Rican Customs is just kicking back, thinking this is a nice card right here.
BBB says some customs officer is destroying some Fortnite.
You notice like the Costa Rican Customs team is going way up in the rankings in Fortnite. So it's not here yet. It is working its way. It's hopefully going to be processed today, and maybe in here tomorrow. I think tomorrow technically, I think I will have everything except for I think some cables needed to build the machine, and I may start doing that. So I kind of need to get that. Fred is magical in that. Some customers rule the D&D world. Yep. Okay, so it looks like our build worked while I was looking over there. Yep, 3 succeeded right there. So now we've got vectors in this kind of space working. Now what I want to do is let's look at the spells. I'm trying to think of the best way to do it. Let's go to our data that we have for our spells, and we'll bring that up. We'll take a look at that. I like that. It's still loading. All right, so we've got spells, and there are ranges of different spells, right? Well, one of the things we could do now is we could figure out, hey, is this close or not? I think that we should say, do this. So X, Y, and Z are in feet, because those are, and my apologies to everybody who's on the metric system, which is like obviously way better and makes more sense. But Dungeons and Dragons is stuck in that world. We could also change this.
Good justification. I like that.
We could also call it game units, right? We could also add a property called units as well. But is the app open source? Yeah. So want to look into the performance. It is open source. However, the assets are not open source because I've licensed these assets from a provider. And because of that, you will probably not, it'll be difficult to get it to run and to get it to demonstrate the performance issues. That said, also you have to be inside of, well, you don't really have to be inside of, I was going to say you have to be inside OBS, but if you want to look at the code, though, the code is out there at MrAnnounceBot/releases. That's what's going on there. Lovely. So one of the things we can do right off is we can say, well, if somebody wants to cast a spell on somebody else, are they in range? Here comes Jetsam, kids. Here to protect our world. Good job, Jetsam. Jetsam's here to fight off tyranny and evil. Thanks, Jetsam. Just what we need. It's over there. The tyranny and the evil. Good job going to get it. Really appreciate that, Jetsam. So I'm thinking let's play in this space. Let's at least do something, start off with something simple. This is what we want to do. He says, I'd be down to dev something like that. What are you guys talking about? I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, it started out with some form of gaming, and then we drifted to Minecraft, and then Puddingcraft, and possibly that's what we're now talking about.
Got it. Okay, Puddingcraft. That's awesome. I missed the Puddingcraft. My eyes scan up and down for the long bits of text, and missed the Puddingcraft right up there. All right, cool. Okay, so let's do that. Let's see if we can build a test case for that. That's kind of what we're looking for. We want our test cases to be easy to build. So we want to get a sense as we build this, how long is it taking us to do, to build this test? So let's come in here, create a new test called spell range test, or maybe a better name would be yeah, I think alarm is a unique spell because I think it allows you to target a thing. You set an alarm against someone. Yeah, it's a door, a window, or an area within range, no larger than a 20-foot cube.
It's interesting that it works if you're within 1 mile of the target object. So you're going to have to deal with the number of feet in a mile at some stage.
Right. In terms of, so there's a couple things we need to.
I have no idea, by the way.
You have no idea about what?
I'm going to go, there's many feet in a mile. That's about
Oh.
as accurate as I can get.
Yeah, no, it's like I think 3,000 plus or something like that. Pudding craft could be developed in pudding streams, right? Gen7 says. That would be so cool if we could like stack up puddings. Wobbly. All right. By the way, there was a game. Gosh, forget the name of this game. Really great technology. It was vector-based two-dimensional game with wobbly creatures that you would roll around, and it was really clever. And it was for a handheld device, as I recall. If you know what the game I'm talking about, throw it out at me, and we'll see if it's the same one I'm thinking about. All right, so we want to check to see if if the target is within range. So I think we need, by the way, let's kind of we're playing in the space out here in vector. I think we need an interface here on this. Drop anything extract interface. That's what I want. An I vector. Wait, why did it just give me that? Did I not have any public members?
I don't think you had. I think you
I
got
don't. Only fields. Got it.
Yeah.
And is it this, or is it that I just want to simply return a vector? I think maybe I just want to return a vector.
Surly Dev is in the house.
What eye position? Hey, Surly Dev. Eye position. Let's make it a property. We'll call it position. All right, so that's eye position. That's what I'm going to do. So because the reason we need this is because we also need the target to have an eye position in it. In fact, as long as we're talking about it, we might as well keep going. Let's see. Let's search in here for, do we have sphere in here? Spell target shape. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. So we also need like a spell area. I'm playing with this idea like this. I spell area, spell target area. And I think it's going to have a method called contains that's going to take in another vector.
Okay, yeah.
And it's going to turn true or turn false. So we'll have implementers of the spell target area that'll be able to say, is there a point inside it or not? I think we also need a something like a TD. Should I just go with decimal every time because it's more precise? I don't know. Doubles are so easy. Distance 2, like that. It's going to do that. And it's going to have, I think, a property of spell target shape called shape, like that. Maybe it's just this. Spell target, could it also be a person? I'm not sure if it's a person or not. 6-second delay on the video.
Maybe try refreshing. Sometimes there's a reconnection which will help that.
How can I refresh?
No, I'm saying whoever's saying that was that.
Okay.
Surly Dev, yeah. You hit the F5 there. They may reconnect with slightly less lag.
Yeah, this is with only one overlay working right now. That's how crazy my world is.
I'm inclined to think that OBS just, it starts doing things whenever we ask it to, and it never stops. So we roll dice, that's it. It's rolling dice forevermore, even if there aren't any.
Yeah, maybe, I suppose. I wonder what would happen.
Or at least some quantity of resource allocated to that,
Yeah, you might be right. Excuse me. Jump back over here. Okay, so contains distance 2. I'm playing with this space. I'm not sure if if I might also include something like this, where I do, I want to have a property that is a list of creatures. whoops, property is a list of creatures, like that. And so now I feel like we're getting really close to all the different things that a spell can target. I want to add an entry here, I think. Creature.
Okay.
Even though it's not technically a shape. But now I'm kind of getting... And do I have a class or an enum out here already called spell target? No, it looks like I don't. What spell target type? Oh, looks like I was playing in this space right here. Creature's area effect item. Do I have any references to this? I have some. Okay. So I'm already using that right there. That's a really cute leak emote.
Yeah, Jeniska 7 pudding leak detected.
Okay. All right. So spell type. So what I've been doing is combining spell target type, which tells me if it's creature's area of effect or item. And then I've got this target. I've got a list of player IDs, but I don't have a list of creatures inside of here.
Right.
And you can see I've got the range to a target. Why would I store the range in the target? That doesn't seem to make sense to me.
No, that's derivative of its location relative to whoever's casting, right?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna kill range. Is what I think I'm gonna kill. But actually I may not. Because my problem is here is in this space here. Target. Spell target is one of the pieces that's passed in, I believe. Spell target. Yeah, it's passed in to evaluate. What that means is, do I have, let's see if I have target underscore anywhere. I don't have a reference to it here. So I'm just going to say that it's safe to kill range. I have no references to it not being set. Just because I don't have any references in the code doesn't mean I don't have references out in the code that we have out here in the spreadsheet. So that code is over in this space right here. Things like this. Okay, so I think I'm going to kill range, but I'm going to kill it like that. Just in case I have made a mistake, I'll come back. It'll be remind me that that I deleted. Not too. That's not here to have references in the spread.
I mean, interestingly enough, it's quite possible you're not referencing it because there was no legitimate way to use it, given you could never set its value because you'd have to know that range relative to something else.
Yeah, you're right. I'm taking it out. That's all I needed, Rory. Just that little bit of logic right there. So I've got a location for the target. And we were talking about, hold on, let's go back here. Go to vector. We had an I position here. Maybe I'll change this to location. Like that. So that means now target can implement I location, which is kind of important. Okay. The I spell target got a list of creatures. Now here's the thing: contains distance 2. I spell target is almost. There's some similarity with this right here. There's some of it, but it's not quite exactly what I was If I take out creatures, by the way,
it's
and do
almost
this.
as if your target is derivable from a creature, a player, a group of any of the above. But you know, I've seen you had a list of each of them in the other class there, and assuming you had 2 creatures, 2 players, and whatever else, you would then have to, I don't know, work out an average for them in terms of absolute locations.
Sure.
Or do you just
center,
abstractly say, you know, it affects all these things? End of. You know, not worrying too much about.
Yeah, it depends on what the spell shape of it is, right? If the spell, so this actually takes care of a lot of the targeting the targeting needs that we have, and it may be that this is like I'm thinking ahead in a thing that we may not need. I'm gonna comment this out. I think that's what I'm gonna do for right now.
Okay.
And say just with eye position and simplify it, just and with vector right there. So eye position is just going to have a location of type vector. I want to use tab to next reference to tab through the different pieces in here and see if there is. I'm looking for properties of this type is what I'm doing here. Oh wow. Oh shit. Is this going to be a problem? I think it's not. So these are all pieces that are passed via signal R. I just changed my vector to become a vector, a 3D vector.
Yep. But JSON, like XML, can take additional things happily
Yeah, it
without
can.
breaking the receiver.
It can. Yeah, I'm actually using this in a lot of places here. Let's go to creature. Let's see what we've got here. Make sure it's using nothing with vector in creature. Its descendant character has something called world position, which I'm going to now rename to location. Let's go up here. I'm going to take this out of here and I'm going to put it up in creature. Like that.
Which class? Sorry, which class was it previously in? Character.
Character, right? Which means it could
Yeah.
also be in monster. We need to check to see if it's in monster as well and get rid of it. So come back up here, derive types, and go to monster. Certainly, I was watching Pudding stream. Hey, I want a fanfare pudding when I come on your stream.
Oh yeah.
So look for vector. I want to get you back. No vector in here. Okay, so that's
When's Pudding streaming?
when you stream
When's
it,
your
Pudding.
stream on?
Okay, so now back to our tests here, our spell tests.
I have this slight worry that Pudding's stream is him on screen with a pudding cup and a spoon.
I'd,
Just, you know.
I would do that. I could watch it for hours. I could hear you. I didn't hear you talking to me though, says Surly Dev. How did you guess, Rory? All right. Spell range test. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to get a spell. That's what I want to do. Something like this. I'm going to grab aid. Spell names. Do I have aid in here? Let's add it. Well, I could grab... Let's grab Chaos Bolt. So we already have a player that uses it. So here's the Chaos Bolt spell. And I want to create that one. I had another one. Character test, I think, is what character builder. Is that where I would look like? Build test elf. No, no, no. I had another one that I liked better than this. Is it support? Yeah, these are not the ones I'm looking for. I'm looking for... That was no, no. I know what the parameter name is. I just remember the method name. And I feel like... Yeah, it's not in character builder. Let's see if I can find the word builder.
Parameter, something you can search for the symbol.
Yeah,
Is it just method classes?
Yeah, the parameter was level here. Hold on a second. Mod builder, item builder, character builder, attack builder. So it wasn't builder. Creature factory, I almost want to say. Nope. Let's see if I have the word factory in here. Player factory. Oh, but that's up here. That's up in the high level. That's not what I'm looking for. That can't be it. Trying to remember the last. Let's do this. Let's do this. This is going to be a better way to approach this problem. Let's open folder and file explorer. Let's see the most recent change we've made up in here. So feature tests. Let's take a look at our feature tests. Here
Interestingly, you did have a farm monster builder there that was recently-ish.
Player helper is what it
Okay.
is. It's player helper. Get player at level. So we're kind of doing this as a start right here. This is kind of our initial start new game piece right here. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to bring it back over into our spell tests. And let's put it nearby. Okay. Actually, let me work on the code first, and then I'll extract it once we're good here. So get player at level. So let's get a sorcerer at level 6, right there. We don't need to add a weapon to it. We want to add a creature. Do I have a creature helper? I don't think I do. I do not.
Feels like a creature helper might be a legitimate ancestor of a player helper.
I have a monster builder out here, though.
Okay, that's not bad then.
And I've got a couple of monsters I can build pretty quickly here. So I can build a Vine Blight and call it Joe. Like that. And that should return a monster. Cool. So there's my Vine Blight. And so now I want to position these guys. So I want to say vineblight.location equals Actually, I really liked the room, the room tests, right? That we had before that we were looking at. What was that? I'm looking for map. I don't see that. I think it ended with in room. Test map by room activation. Combat test. Well, it looks like that's where I was. There it is. Position creatures. So that's in the room. Calling set world position. What's my problem here? What is going on? Oh.
Private setup.
Yeah, because I moved it up to the ancestor. If I change this to protected, though, looks like I wanted to protect the assignment to that. So let's, to get the map in the room is here. The advantage of position creatures here is that it will ultimately set their world coordinates.
Yeah. It also means that when spinning past the test, discovering that it is the one that's failing for some reason, you get a visual impact of what the circumstance was, rather than these abstract numbers that just sort of throw themselves at you and you go, ah, you can see what it is you meant.
Right. That's kind of why I want to do this. That's what I want to do. I want to use that. I think I want to extract something in here. I am calling get world position here for the room, but this is adding on its X and Y coordinates. So the room, the idea here is that each room would serve as its own world.
Almost like a namespace in which the coordinates sit.
Yeah, I almost feel like I want to make a different version of this that's independent of the room. And I want to make it a helper method in my test cases, is what I want to do, so I can visualize. I get the benefits of visualization. And so that's kind of what I'm playing with here. So the idea is, I'm not sure what I'm going to call this yet. Let's throw this in here.
Just had the weirdest idea flash through my head. I suddenly am envisaging a test involving the placement of pudding in a kitchen at a distance from some cakes and having him cast retrieve food and to see can he reach the food. This is the strangest thing.
It's a great idea. All right. And now, so this is position creatures. And it's going to take a string and a list of creatures like that. And we're going to call it creatures like this. And the string is going to be the map. We'll call this the map like that. And so we're going to do it's going to be based on this very similar code. The creature name, this is going to be, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to be able to pass in a map with the first letter of that creature's name. And so as long as we have everybody's name starts with a different letter, it'll be fine. And that way it's easy to create the test case. It's human readable, and yet it also works. The only rule is everybody's got to start with a different letter. So we'll say creature start initial, like that, and position creatures. And I think I'm going to add one more parameter here, which is going to be the Z. Is it going to be an int? What's our vector? Are we using ints on vector? Double. Okay. So this is going to be a double, like that, and this is going to be our Z, and we're going to default that to a 0. So we're going to pass in a 2D map right here. This is going to be a two-dimensional map, like that. Okay. So found player, that we need to go into creatures instead. And call that creature. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. What's wrong with my first or default here? Is it because I don't have system.generics or something like this? System.link? There it is. Right there. Okay. And it's just the return type right here. Creature.name does not equal it, but starts
Returning
with. Starts
Okay,
with.
yeah.
And then the creature and start initial is there, I think. And I'm almost thinking that we want to make it case insensitive. I'm almost thinking that. Oh yeah, I did need a 2-string on there. And then my return type is now going to be creature. Right there.
Yeah.
Okay. Found creature dot location. Can I set this? I'm thinking about just changing it to, or you know what? Let's do this. Let's go find our set world position here in character and take it down to creature.
There we go. Much more sensible.
Yeah, that's better. I'm going to change it to set location, I think. The world position made sense before when I had rooms, and the rooms were each in themselves had an offset in the world. But the way Tailspire works is they've got the creatures all over the place. So and it's one world. So all right. Okay, so now we're doing this, calling get world position. Sorry, I'm in the wrong place. What happened? Okay, I see what happened. And now we need, and before my X and Y's were in squares, and that doesn't make sense here at all. So we say set location. Well, square side is 5 feet. I'm going to keep that. So in other words, when we pass in that map back over in combat tests, each one of these locations is a 5 by 5. That's 5 feet by 5 feet.
Okay.
That's what's going on there. So,
You presume to be at the center of that 5 by 5.
Yeah, or was something consistent, the upper left
Yeah.
of every one. Something like
Okay.
that. That's what I'm going to do. I like it when you say, I get it, Rory. I'm like, okay, cool. Rory says he gets it, he gets it.
I do. No,
Um,
that's fine. Well, it means that you can, I mean, you're right. It doesn't really matter where within the square you are consistent about being, as long as you are consistent. So effectively, it is 5 feet from one square to the same position in the next square.
Yes. So we're passing the new vector there, passing in Z as well. So we find that character, we're good. We've set the location. So now, position creatures is good. Now, let's make a call to it using something similar to this. In our spell range test. So here's position creatures, and it needs an additional, it needs a creature list, right?
Yep.
List of creatures. Okay, so we'll create a new list of creatures here. And that's going to be, call it creatures. Or should I just have the game maintain them all? I'm going to have the game maintain them all. So I've got game.addPlayerSorcerer. I want to come in here and let's say the sorcerer dot name equals Mark. Like that. We've added the sorcerer. Down here I want to say add creature, I think, to the game. Pass in the Vine Blight.
Yep.
Let's declare it. Just want to get these close to each other. This is going to be creature. So there's my creatures list. Do we have Jason ignore pieces out here? Is this server serialized? Nope, looks like it's not. Okay, good. We'll say known creatures dot add creature. And I want to I want to see where we clear it, right here. So I just want to clear this at the same time where we're calling players.clear. Let's change this up a little bit. Okay, so known creatures is cleared when we call get ready to play in our test case. When calling get ready to play, we are right there. So that's going to clear that out. We're going to add the creature. And then now position creatures. I want to pass in, I think, like all creatures. Which means I want to create a read-only property. All right, I'm working with creatures so much, I'm going to right-click this, say use type in templates. I'm going to type in, I think, CR. Uh-oh, what's CR used for? CRE. What about CT? CT's not used. Creature. Yeah, CT. Let's do that. All right, so now that I've added that as a template, I can come in here and create like a a read-only list of CTs, like that. That'll give me a public read-only list of creatures. Call it all creatures. And can we do... want to combine known creatures?
Yeah, you could probably union them.
How do I do that?
Those
Do you know?
lists.
Have you
I
done
think it's
this?
just dot union and then brackets second list.
This may not work because players is of a different type. Yeah, exactly what we need right now. Coding Gorilla here to save us. So I got known creatures, which is a list of creatures. Players, which is a list of characters, which is descents from creatures. So I know how to do this code by hand. The old-fashioned way. I don't know how to do this the new way.
So I think you can do, I think it's a players dot cast to T, which in this case is creature. Basically, the list of players, everything in it must be a player, and technically, though, every player will be a creature as well. That doesn't make the list of players assignable to a list of creatures. So you have to sort of do this cast facility, and I can't remember the specific. That might be it there.
Is that really going to work? Holy cow, did we just do that? Wow. All right, that looks right. Coding Gorilla. So much for my stealth lurking. Wasabi Dev is asking, hey, Code Rush on chat, how's it going? That's how it's done. Wasabi Dev, thanks so much, guys. Yeah, I'm like wrapping my head around this gradually here. To get the union.
I throw out
cast.
roughly the words which have something vaguely to do with it, and Mark finds the exact syntax.
I
See,
do
well done.
like that it works, that I'm like, this is how I would hope it works. All right, cool. So that looks like that's working. The union is returning something new, right? Not modifying this. So that's
right.
going to give us all creatures, which is what we want. Now we can pass that in here. And now we've got Joe and Mark. So that means we should be able to say Mark is here and Joe is down here, like that. And so now the question is, let's count the distance between the two. Well, I guess we can go up 1, 2, 3. Wait, let's count up the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8 times 5. That's 40 feet. Too far away already. We know it's too far away. Let's bring this guy over here. And to be honest, I don't need the room boundaries at all in here, because I'm not using those now to figure out the room. I have done that before, but I'm not using it now. So now the question is here, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that's 40 feet away. So now we want to know is, can we cast the spell? Can we cast Chaos Bolt? So what does that code look like? I think it's going to be if sorcerer dot can cast, and then we're going to pass in Chaos Bolt, like that. I kind of want to do this. At Divine Blight. Actually, let's rename Divine Blight to Joe. Like that.
You scroll down just a little bit, Mark.
You
Fred's
bet.
just barely getting in the way there. There we go.
So if the sorcerer can cast Chaos Bolt at Joe,
Okay.
it's kind of what I want to look like. What I want it to look like, which really is going to be a assert true right here. Sorcerer can cast Chaos Bolt at Joe. What do I have to return from CanCast to make the at to work? That's kind of my thought process on this, but I like the way it reads. Right? So we need to create an...
I have seen this before, but I've not made this before. So I kind of have the same question as you. It feels like your CanCast has got to return some object which has state that has recorded the source, which then has a method on it called at, which will record the target. Now you have an object, and the object somehow then is coaxed into being evaluated as Boolean.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little bit... The problem with this, though, is in the declaration of that object, we're going to have a function called at, which is kind of doesn't really make a lot of sense. But I like this in terms of readability, right? Especially for a test case. If the sorcerer can cast bolt to Joe. Let's play with it and see what we get. So the state we have to return from a CanCast in here. Let's see what happens when we do a declare method. What's it going to get us? Probably an object return. The spell coming in. So spell is here. And what do we need to know from the spell? We need to know, is it a range?
Well, interestingly, we're passing the spell in, but we don't have access to the caster, and it's the caster's location that was going to form our source.
We do. We're in the caster.
We are.
We're
Okay.
in it right there. So we're going to say...
That's not too bad then.
So I think what we need, let's play with a new class here called a CanCast result. Like that. That's what we're going to return back, I think. And we want to, let's do this. Return new CanCast result. And we want to pass in location. So our location, the spell range, we're going to make this real simple for now. And the spell range.
Yep.
Is what I think we're going to do. Let's declare that. I think without fields, wait, I chose without fields, I thought. What happens if I do it? Maybe I didn't choose what I thought I did. Okay, let's try again. I thought I chose without fields. Got it. Okay. All right. Because I wanted properties instead.
Okay.
All right. So that's going to store the location. The CanCast result is going to store the location, and it's going to store the range. That means
This is pretty simple at this point then, right?
well, I think it might be. Yeah, go ahead. What?
Well, in theory, we have a single method, at, which returns Boolean, and literally does the calculation based on start location and range, and for that matter, destination of object being passed into at.
Yeah, it's gonna. We're gonna start simple, and it's gonna work. But with D&D, there's all kinds of crazy rules. But let's throw this in right here. So at Joe, and so now we're basically gonna check to see if let's change this to creature.
It's interesting actually because you can, in theory, I mean, okay, we could introduce interfaces that each of our different types of target could inherit from, but alternatively, we can overload at with different variations for different types of target and have it work out the plausibility independently. It's quite nice.
So creature.location, distance to location is less than or equal to range. That's kind of what we're looking at. And then distance to
Yeah.
location is right here. I'm sure there's a faster way to do this, but it's something along the lines of it's the square root of the squares summed together, right?
Yes.
And it's the cubed root for 3, pretty sure. It's the cubed root. Is that right?
Well, I don't know. I'm prepared to accept that, certainly. But I'm curious for the moment. I'm not sure you have the ability to define a 3D map anyway. You've got a 2D map going in.
No, but I can. I'm pretty sure distance between location, distance to location. Isn't it location distance to location a bit redundant? Coding Gorilla may have found a typo there. Let's see what we got.
It's the
there.
location of the creature relative to the location of yourself,
Yeah,
which is a local field. So this dot location is, yeah.
that's
more
kind of a
clear, I
more
suppose.
explicit version of that right there. That's what I'm doing there. No, thanks for that though. Could have been a.
Otherwise,
problem.
you're right. 0 all the time.
Yeah, no, I like that. Where am I? I'm gonna pull up my app. You're right here holding your phone. Oh, okay. All right, so distance to, this is going to be a double coming back here. Distance between 2 3D points. I'm pretty sure it's a cube root. I could be wrong. It could be the square root. It's the square root. There it is right there. Yep, raise to the 1/2 power. Okay. Yeah, delta squared. All right. I want to just copy and paste kind of thing because this code's not happy for me to write. But basically it is, so we got to come in here, we got to say, let's create a new double here. We're going to call this delta x. We set that equal to location dot x minus this dot x, like that. Okay?
Yep.
I don't really need the this there. The cool thing is Coder should come in here and help me out, getting me to a y here and a y here. And one more time, gets me the z.
There you go. Spots the pattern, helps you out with the last piece.
Yeah. Next line should help me out as well. So then we're going to say, probably return. And we're going to say, we want the square root. So we're going to say math dot square root of, and then I'm going to say delta x times delta x. And I'll throw a comma in here. Now I'm going to come back and select all that and then shift enter on it, shift enter, and then it builds the rest for me like that. So that's not too bad. Whoops, I had commas. I put a comma there. I meant to say plus. We can do it one more time like this. Watch, this is how easy it is. Do that. Wait, what? How do I get a comma in here? Hold on. There we go. I think it's just because I had, and then one more time gets me to the z's. That's what I wanted to do right there. Okay. And now I'm compelled to go back and see if there was a bug there that I want to look at. Here's what I think is the bug. Boom. That's the bug. Is that the bug or not? The plus sign here. The problem is this. If I'm here and I do it, well, it's assuming I want to throw in more parameters at it.
Yep.
Right? That's kind of what's going on there because I didn't select the plus. I'm going to think about that. I'm going to make a note to myself. I'm not sure if I'm going to call that a bug or not. All right. So there's my distance too. I think we're almost ready to run the test case. Maybe we are. So at does that. And so now we have this question right here. Is it true it can cast it? Actually, we want this. We're asserting this should be false right here. And let's try and run it. See what happens.
Okay.
Just going to run the test. Normally I'd step through it, but thought I'd take a drink of water. Just chill. Is that my beautiful supporting wife all the time over there?
All the time.
From the peanut gallery?
I've been so
Chiming in.
quiet.
How you doing? You okay? She's got a beautiful new necklace on. She got yesterday for like $6 somewhere or something like that. I don't know if you can bring it in. My camera doesn't get up close.
Really exciting.
Here she comes. What you got? It's hard
Hey,
to
that
see.
is nice.
Can't really see it here, but it's
It's a
got
moonstone.
it's like it's a moonstone. Is that what it is?
It is.
Okay, you went to
And
the
it
moon
sa-
to
you
get
know
that.
what it says?
What?
It says, I'm stronger than I think I am.
Stronger than I think I
Because
am.
I think I'm pretty strong.
So it's kind of critical of you saying your ability to estimate your abilities is kind of not good.
That's an interesting and negative take, Mark.
Wow.
Miller.
Yeah, I'm just saying. You might want to reflect on that.
You
'Cause
might wanna
mine,
reflect on
you know,
that.
mine says I'm weaker than I think I am, which means my estimating abilities are awesome.
Wait,
No, that's still wrong.
It's still the same, just skewed in the other direction.
Yeah, is that
Yeah.
it?
I'll do the scientific thinking around here.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Jetson, did you just see Coding Gorillas fanfare for the first time? That might have been it right there. Beautiful, inexpensive jewelry is the best, says Wasabi Dev. Where is our problem? It's just at the
Failing
end.
test.
It's going to thrift store.
What's our distance? Well, let's. I'm glad we made it down to here, at the very least.
Mhm.
Let's debug it and just go in
So
and see what.
let's
our,
just count the distance again before we do, because are we correct to saying that should be outside of the range?
Oh, you know what? I could be wrong on the range.
You could put somebody very close and very far away.
No,
And
I
then,
could be
you know,
wrong.
there's
I could be
clear-
totally wrong on the range on Cast Bolt. I thought it was maybe 30. I was assuming it for the test, but now I'm thinking it's 60 feet.
Okay.
Let's go check it out. In other words, the problem may not be with me. Holy cow!
120 feet. Okay. It's just possible we're within range.
Yeah, okay. What's going on here? Just on was loaded to file. What's my exception? Load from context? I don't understand this at all. What is this error?
Hmm.
I haven't seen this error like in years, I think. Is it because I enabled a whole bunch of exceptions? I'm not sure if this is like real or not. Let's see what happens if I continue. I'm just gonna get a bunch of these. Does it ever get out? We're still running. All right, here we are. Okay, so what's our expected distance? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Expected distance is 40. So if we step into this, we should see the spell range. There's the 120. That's good. And we should get the distance 2. We're looking for that to return.
Wow.
It's the same problem again. Let me just try this.
We've not even got to the next piece.
Binding failure. I can't tell if these are things that are important or not. There we go. Now we get to this Certus Falls right here. Finally, because I hit run when I was in there. I wanted to get the distance in there.
I guess stick a breakpoint in the app.
Yeah. I'm also thinking I want another assert in here. I want a assert equal, but I'm using coders here. Just AE like that gives me assert equal. Expected value is going to be 40, and then I'm going to call dot distance to show. Like that is what I think I'm going to do. So that means I need a distance 2. I think I want to change this to location.distance to creature.location. Like that. And then I want to take this and I want to do this.
Hey Mark, I've just looked at the time and realised I'm about 20 minutes later than I'm supposed to be.
Your ability to
I'm gonna
estimate
have to-
time is
Yeah,
similarly
it's not so hot apparently.
is as impaired as my wife's ability to estimate her own abilities. It's impaired because you're so much better than you think you are. That's all I'm
dangerous.
saying.
Right.
You're so much better. You're so much better. All right, Roy. We'll see you, buddy. Thanks for the show.
Bud.
Hey,
I'll catch you
you
on
can't
Tuesday.
hit me.
Bye.
Your ability to hit me is not as good as you think it is. Oh my God. All right. Bye-bye, Rory. Come save the day again soon. Yeah, come save the day again soon, Rory. Appreciate that. Okay, so now we got distance 2. That feels better to me now. Now we can come in here, check this, make sure that's equal. Let's come up here and let's set next statement here. That's not good. Or at least Mark immediately starts getting abused. Yeah, it is kind of true, isn't it? It's true. All right. Let's try debugging the test one more time. Okay. What do we got here? Yeah, we get 40. Sweet. So that means, yes, this should actually be true. Okay. So that one's my fault right there. So is true. Okay, cool. Let's create something that's 125 feet away. It's going to be a little harder to do, I think. But should be able to just take this line of code right here, pop it down there, position the creatures, and now I'm at 40. I need to add 80, which is 16 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and one more. That should do it right there. And now we can double check this here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. 25 times 5 is 125. That should fail. So let's test that. Distance should be 125. Sorcerer can cast Castball. Distance to Joe. This is not too hard to read. I don't mind this. I don't mind this in order to get its distance, in order to get this line of code right here. Can we cast it? And I'm even thinking about changing this, right? The can cast could be something else, like get casting data. And then this could be can reach Joe. Something like that. But I'm okay for now. Let's run this. This should now be false, because we've gone over that limit. I kind of want... I'll copy that and then do this. Can I paste that in all of those? Looks like I did just that. Okay, I should have just gone with the line numbers here. 450 to 425. So yeah, 25 lines difference. Okay. Let's run it. And it looks like it passed. There we go. All right, it's passed. Okay. I think that's it. I'm going to call that a show. Let's see who else is out there streaming. And we will send you out to them. Hope your week is good. All right, we're sending it to our good friend InstaFluff. Say hi to him for me. And I hope you have a good week. We'll see you tomorrow.